Hello and welcome back to the third recitation, which is Introduction to HTML. I hope you all have watched the previous two recitation recordings and have filled the forms because that is how the attendance will be marked. Moreover, be sure to submit the assignments on time. So today we will look into HTML. What does HTML stand for? It stands for Hypertext Markup Language, and it is a standard markup language for creating web pages, and also it helps to describe the structure of a web page. So in today's recitation, we will look into the following topics. We will start by understanding editors, then learn about the basic structure of a web document, followed by general tags that are used to create the structure of the content on a web page. Moving on, we will learn how to search for help in W3 schools, how to open the web console on Chrome, and finally, how to use the W3C's validator app. Moving on to the first topic, which is editors. A text editor is a computer program that helps to edit plain text, and it is important to use a text editor that has color coding for HTML. There are various text editors that are available, and some of them are mentioned over here. Notepad++ is very often used, but since it is not available for Mac, the alternatives are Visual Studio Codes, Bracket, Atom. So for the recitation, I will be using Notepad++ for the demonstration purpose, but feel free to use any editor of your choice. The reason that we are using professional editors is that it helps to facilitate the development of source code, meaning that these editors help to work on multiple programs at once also. So for example, if I go to Notepad++ and when I open Notepad++, it will open a window like this. I can just go to File, then click on New, and it will create a new tab for me where I can code. Like this, I can create multiple tabs and then I can code on all these tabs simultaneously. In case I don't need any tab, I can just click on the red cross button over here and it will close the tab. So this is a very efficient way to code simultaneously. Moreover, when like you can also select the programming language which is being used to code. So in case you want to use HTML, you can just go to language, then go to H, and in that you have an option of HTML. Just click on that. So it will automatically the language will be selected. There are various languages over here. If you go to J, you have JavaScript, Java, JSON. If you go to S, you have Shell, you have Spice, SQL. So accordingly, you have different languages. Now we'll be coding in HTML. So let's just select the language as HTML and we're set. So basically, with along with simultaneous coding on different tabs, you can also select the language. And after writing the code, the file can also be saved by clicking on Save As. And over here, the file, if we go to File, since we've already selected the language, which is HTML, so when we go to File and click on Save As, automatically .html, the extension .html is going to be shown over here, so you can just save it directly. And in case that if that extension is not like if you can't see that extension, then you have to manually put it. So remember that all HTML files have an extension of .html. While saving, you have to make sure that that extension is present. Now, moving on, the basic structure of HTML document. It has the following four elements, which is doc tab HTML, the HTML tag, head tag, and the body tag. So the second, third, and fourth elements are called as tags. Now, HTML tags are like keywords. It defines how the web browser will format and display the content. So with the help of tags, a web browser can distinguish between an HTML content and a simple content. HTML tags contain three main parts, that is an opening tag, the content, and the closing tag. But not all HTML tags are closed, so we have to keep that in mind, and we will see further which ones are not closed. All HTML documents must start with a doc type declaration. This declaration is not a HTML tag, it is just an information to the browser about what document type to expect. So the doc type declaration represents the document type and helps the browser to display the web pages correctly. And it only appears once at the top of the page before any of the HTML tags start. One thing to note is that the doc type declaration is not case sensitive. Now, next is the HTML tag. The HTML tag represents the root of an HTML document. It is the container for all other HTML elements. Then the third one is the head element. It is a container for metadata. Now, metadata is basically data about data, and it is placed between the HTML tag and the body tag. Metadata is data about the HTML document, and it is not displayed. So it typically consists of like the document title, characteristic, a character set, styles, scripts, and other meta information. One example that we could think of is the title. The title tag defines the title of the document. So when you go on a web browser and you see the title bar of the tab, you can see there's some title is given. If you open Google, then it would say Google search accordingly. So that's the title. So remember that the title must be text only and it is shown in the browser's title bar or in the pages tab. Furthermore is the body tag. The body tag defines the document's body. The body element consists of all the contents of an HTML document, like it can have headings, paragraphs, images, hyperlinks, tables, lists, etc. So that's how the basic structure of an HTML document is. Now, what we could do is we could try to create a basic HTML structure. And I would request everyone to, if possible, code along with me because this way you will understand it much better. So we can start coding on our editors. I will be using Notepad++. And so the first thing we'll do is we will declare the document type by writing doc type HTML. So let's go here and write doc type HTML. Then after writing doc type HTML, we will write the HTML tag. Now, if you're going to write the HTML tag, make sure that whenever we open a tag, we have to close it. So for closing a tag, we will use a backslash and close it. So now you can see that the HTML, since we've chosen the language as HTML, so the color coding is done accordingly. That is that if you see that the first line, the declaration line, has a different color scheme, since it serves to indicate that the version of HTML is HTML5, and the HTML tag is a different kind. So the color coding is really important, and hence this is why we use the editors. Now inside the HTML tag, we'll have the head tag. So we can just write head. And since we open the head tag, we have to close the head tag also. So we'll just write a backslash head. And next tag is the body tag. So we will write body and make sure that we close it also. And go to file and just save it. Or you can, if you're a Windows user, you can do Control S to save the file also. So with this, our basic structure of the HTML document is done. Now what we have to do is like we have to fill content in it because right now there is nothing on the web page to see. If you go to Notepad, if you go to, you can do one thing. You can go to run, click on run, and then click on the file which is new1.html. So it will try to open this web page over here, and currently the web page is empty right now because we haven't added any content to it. So let's move on and try to add more content to it. Or you can also go to the place where your go to the place where your file is saved, and you can open with any of the browsers that you want to view. So like to view the web page directly. So as you can see over here now, there is no content on the web page and it's completely empty. In case you're using Visual Studio Code, then you can go to Finder and navigate to the file and just double click on the file. And if you're in the Chrome menu, then go to File, open the file, and like view it. So now since the web page is like really empty, let's try to modify the code and add more elements. So we'll start with the head tag. Inside head tag, as we had already mentioned, all the meta information goes. So the first information that we could mention is the character set, and it is mentioned by using the meta char set tag. So we will this meta char set tag will take the value UTF-8. This character set attribute specifies the character encoding for the HTML document. So the HTML5 specification encourages the web developers to use UTF-8 characteristics because it covers almost all the characters and symbols in the world. So let's go ahead and mention the character set inside the head. So we'll write meta char set equal to then UTF hyphen 8. So with this, the meta characteristic is defined. Then we can also add comments in the HTML documents. So comments are a great way for placing notifications and reminders in your HTML code. It also helps in debugging HTML because you can comment out HTML lines of codes one at a time to search for errors. So the syntax to write a comment is there is an open angular bracket followed by an exclamation, then two hyphen marks, and then the first comment, like content of the comment, follow, and then you close it by putting two hyphens and close angular bracket. So we can go ahead and make a comment also. So you have first comment and then close them. So with this, the comment is also created. Then inside the head tag, you can also have the title tag. As discussed before, the title tag defines the title of the document and it must be text only and it is shown in the browser's title bar or in the pages tab. So the content of a page title is very important for search engine optimization, that is SEO. The reason being that it is used by the search engine algorithms to decide the order when listing pages in the search results. So you can just write, uh, you can open the title tag. Then if since you've opened the title tag, be sure to close it. And inside this, you can just write the title. So my first web page. And with this, we have filled the important metadata that we need inside the head tag. Now in the body tag, this is where all the main content of the web page goes. So the most basic way of writing a content would be using the paragraph tag, which is defined by T. And here the text can be written by just opening the p tag, writing the content, and then closing the p tag. One thing to note is that browsers automatically add a blank line before and after each p element. So you can just go to body, open the p tag, write this is a paragraph, and then close the p tag. So if you, and then you can just save it, and when you go and check the web page, you can see that you can see a paragraph over here. This is a paragraph. So this is how the content can be viewed on the web page. So now with this, like we have finished the basic structure and we have added a few elements also. But now let's add more elements and like explore that what are the other things that could be added. So the first thing we can start with is the HTML headings. HTML headings are titles or subtitles that are displayed on a web page, and they are defined with the H1 tag to H6 tags, where the H1 tag defines the most important heading and H6 tag defines the least important heading. Search engines use the headings to index the structure and content of the web pages. Users also, when they see a web page, they skim by a page by its heading itself. So it is important to use the headings to show the document structure. Remember that H1 heading should be used for main headings, then followed by H2, and then for less important ones, H3, so on and so forth. We can mention the headings by writing the H1 tag and then adding the content and then closing the H1 tag. So let's go ahead and explore headings. So I can just write H1, say heading 1, and then close the tab. And similarly do it for H2. Then H3, then H4, H5, and finally H6. So with this, we have written all the headings. Now let's try to view and see how these headings look. So you can see the heading 1 is the most bold and has the relatively higher font size compared to heading 2 and so on and so forth. And heading 6 is the least, it has the least font size over here among the others. So these are how headings can be used according to what content has to go on the web page. Now, after headings, we can move on to images. Now, images can also be added by using the img tag. The img tag is used to embed an image in an HTML page. Now, this tag takes two attributes, which is src and alt. So, src is basically source, and it specifies the path to the image, and alt is alternate text. So, it specifies an alternate text for the image. In case if the image for some reason cannot be displayed, the alternate text will be displayed in place of that. Now, the SRC attribute, that is the source attribute, it can take a link or even a path on the local system. So that is, if you have an image in one of your folders, which in your laptop or any other device, you can include the folder name in the SRC attribute. But in case you have to point to an image which is on the web, then you can just specify the full URL in the SRC attribute. So let's try doing that. Let's try to take an image from the web and then try to link embed it into the HTML page. So I'll just take this website. I'll write image and I'll write SRC, and then in double quotes I will mention the link of the image. Then I can write alternate, and then I can write the alternate text, which is dog, and then close the tag. Now, one thing to note over here is that the image tag, once it's open, you don't have to close it. So this is one of the tags which doesn't need any closing. Now, if we go and check the web page, you can see the image of the dog is displayed here. So that is how you can just take the link address from the web and then embed it into your web page. And now moving on, after images, we have list. So even list can be created in the body tag. If we need an unordered list, then the UL tag is used. And because UL stands for unordered and list. And inside that list, if there are the list items are mentioned by using the LI tag. And in case ordered list is needed, then the OL tag is used, where O is for ordered, L is for list. And similarly, the list items can be mentioned by writing LI. So let's try doing that. So if we need an unordered list, which is a bulleted list, we just write UL. Since we open the tag, we close it also. And inside this list, we can mention the list items by writing LI. So we can write item 1 and then close the tag. We can add another item, write item 2 and close the tag. This is how an unordered list will be created. Let's try and view it. So you can see that you have a bulleted list now with the list items item 1 and item 2. Similarly, ordered list can also be created. You just write OL and close the OL tag. Inside that, you can have the list items item 1 and then item 2. If we go and check our web page, we can see now we have an ordered list with the ordering in terms of numbers, and this is how the lists are also created. Moving on, we have the P tag. Inside the P tag, more modifications can be done by mentioning the I tag and the B tag. So I tag can be mentioned for italics, that is the font, how it's supposed to be, and B can be used for bold. Let's try doing that. If I go to this paragraph over here, if I want is to be in italics, so I can just write I in front of the word is and then end the I tag after the word ends. And in case I want to bold the word paragraph, I can just write B in front of the word and then end it after the word ends. So here you can see there has been a change. The now the is in italics and the paragraph is bold. So that is how the modifications can be done for the P tag. Next is A tag. Now A tag defines a hyperlink which is used to link from one page to another. It is the most important attribute. The most important attribute of a element is the href attribute, which indicates the link's destination. So let's just suppose we want to put a link for W3 schools. We can just go to the notepad, type A, then href, put a equal to sign, then in double quotes, mention the website link, then close the tag, write visit W3 schools, and then end the A tag. Now, if we go and check our web page, we will see a link over here, which when you click to, will redirect you to W3 schools. So this is how A tag can also be used. So with this, we have added a lot of things, like a lot of content on our web page. We started with defining the metadata by in the head tag, where we define the title of the web page along with the character set. Then in the body tag, we have mentioned the paragraphs. We have modified the paragraphs by using italics and bold. Then we looked into the 6 heading options we have, how we can embed an image, create list, the list which are of two kinds, that is unordered and ordered list. Also hyperlinks, how they can be embedded into the web page. So Now, let's move on to the next topic, which is W3 Schools. It is an educational website for learning coding online, and it is basically a school for web developers, and it covers all the aspects of web development. So I've given the link for W3 Schools. You can just go to that link, and it will open up this website. If you click on here, Learn HTML, on the left sidebar, you can see all the topics that have the content for all the topics. It starts from the basic, that is the introduction, then goes to editors, and then eventually builds up the entire HTML knowledge that is needed. So, in case of any doubts or any help, or if you're stuck while coding, that time you can refer to this website because it almost has everything that is needed to code in HTML. Next is how to use the web console. So, using the console of the Chrome browser, troubleshooting can be done for errors in the code. So, after you open the browser console, you can start looking for errors, and errors will be displayed differently in each browser, but generally it will be color coded, labeled, or marked with an identifying icon, or like probably in red color. So if you find an error, you can make sure to copy the error name, location, line number, and accordingly you can change it. Like this is the web page. You can just go to inspect inside inspect in console. You can go, and here you can see check for any errors, and it can help you in debugging. Then moving on, we have the W3C validator. The markup validation service is a validator by the World Wide Web, and it allows the internet users to check the HTML5, HTML, and XHTML, and similar documents for well-formed markup against a document type definition. The markup validation is an important step towards ensuring the technical quality of web pages. So how do you use this? I've given a link for W3 validator. If you go to the website, it looks like this. You just have to select validate by direct input and just go to your notepad where the entire code is written. Just select everything, copy it, then come back to this place, and inside this text box, just paste the just paste the code. So after you paste the code, it will tell you about any warnings and errors. If you get a warning, it can be ignored. If you get any errors, just look into what the error are, and then accordingly make changes, and then again come here and check for uh, check if it's right or no. So as we can see that the code we have written has no errors at all, and it is perfectly right. So whenever you are working on an HTML document, make sure that you get it checked from this validator. If no errors were found, then you're good to go. And if errors were found, then you should correct them on the editor. Then again, copy and paste the entire procedure just to verify that the code has been corrected. And well, quite a lot of new terms were introduced today. Just to gain an understanding of these concepts for clear, I have shared a Google form quiz. So please kindly fill it and submit it. The attendance will be marked on the basis of who submitted the form. With this, we come to an end of recitation 3. Thank you. Stay safe, and I'll meet you all in the next recitation.